Player ratings then. West Ham United 0, Everton 1 at the London Stadium. An absolutely massive victory for Everton Football Club. Another away win for Carlo Ancelotti, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin's fantastic finish sees Everton put themselves right back in the race for Europe. Just 3 points behind West Ham now with a game in hand, and although we all sat here this time last week and said we're not going to get our hopes up and we don't think we'll finish in Europe, Everton have pulled us back in again, haven't they? Look, it wasn't the greatest performance. We didn't have the most chances. It wasn't a brilliant watch at times, but ultimately we dug in, we dug deep. There was grit, there was determination, there was fight, there was passion, and there was a little bit of quality by Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and a little bit of quality, in fact, let's be honest, a lot of quality from Ben Godfrey and Dominic Calvert-Lewin to get the goal that sees Everton take another 3 points on the road this season, and another 3 points in London as well, by the way. This is the play ratings anyway. Let's get straight into it. Jordan Pickford, I've given him an 8 today. Didn't have a massive amount to do. Jordan Pickford, to be fair, made a couple of good saves. You know, obviously wasn't pressured and wasn't put under a lot of pressure at times. West Ham had a couple of opportunities coming forward. Obviously, they hit the post with Jared Bowen. I don't think Jordan could have got much on that shot whatsoever. Defensively, we were shaking a little bit at that time. They also had a header from, I think, Ben Rama, who headed over, and again, defensively, we were caught out of position, but it wasn't really Jordan's fault. And like I said, he didn't have a massive amount to do. Other than that, he didn't make any big, saves, that we're used to him making in recent weeks and stuff. Because he didn't have any big saves to make. Really, there was a couple of times when I was really impressed with him coming and collecting balls, coming and collecting crosses, corners, coming and basically making himself big and taking the responsibility. And responsibility, I think, is a big word. To describe this type of performance. There's a number of players in the Everton team today who took responsibility, who took the game by the scruff of the neck, who actively thought, no, do you know what, I'm gonna go and do this, I'm gonna go and make this happen. And Jordan did that on a couple of occasions. He went and he took the responsibility, he got the ball, he collected it from corners, he put himself in harm's way. But other than that, he didn't have an awful lot to do today, did he, Jordan? He wasn't put under a lot of pressure whatsoever. He didn't have many chances to save, but he done well with what he needs to do. So he's getting an 8. Luca Dean's getting an 8.5. Really impressed with Luca Dean down that left-hand side. I think he started the game a little bit shaky, to be honest with you. There was a couple of times at the start of the game when he had the ball on that left-hand side. He maybe could have just got his head down and ran into the box and tried to force an opportunity into the box, but he didn't. He tried to put the ball in first time, and the cross wasn't, the crosses weren't, high enough, and they weren't accurate enough, shall we say, for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But the later the game went on, the more Luca Dean really started to attack down that left-hand side. He was putting dangerous balls into the box all afternoon. Surprisingly, Dominic Calvert-Lewin didn't get on the end of any of them. There was a couple of times when he just burst down that left-hand side. He used his feet really nicely to win us, to get us, keep us in possession down the field. And like I said, I thought he improved as the game went on, to be honest with you. Started a little bit shaky, but improved as the game went on, certainly going forward. And defensively, he done okay today. He was covered a lot, obviously, by Ben Godfrey, Yerry Mina and Michael Keane, because it was a back five and he was allowed to go forward a lot more, but he done everything he needed to do, so he's getting an 8.5. Yerry Mina today is getting a 9.5. Yerry Mina's performance today just shows us why Yerry Mina has to be in this Everton team week in, week out. He was absolutely unbelievable, throwing himself in front of everything that come in, whether it was in the air, whether it was on the floor. He was on the end of it. There was a couple of dangerous crosses that West Ham put into the box, and Yerry Mina was sliding and managed to get a touch on them and just completely and utterly nullified the danger. It was a type of centre-half performance that I think Jordan Pickford will be going up to him at the end of the game and giving him a big hug and basically saying, cheers, Yerry, because there's a couple of times there where balls were looking a bit dangerous and looking a bit threatening for me, and you've just come in and completely seen them out again. Aerially, he was excellent, and he done exactly what we needed him to do today. He frustrated West Ham, specifically Antonio. Yerry Mina's a big physical centre half. He's not afraid to get himself involved in the nasty side of the game. That, shall we say, he's not afraid to throw himself about in the dangerous areas, put himself in harm's way. And like I said, he's a centre half who likes to have a little bit of a ruffle with the centre forwards, likes to get himself a bit physical, get himself in the face of opposition, and that's exactly what he did today, and I thought he was absolutely excellent. Obviously went off with an of injury, and let's just hope and touch wood that it's nothing too serious, because we really, really need Yerry Mina in the remaining sort of 3-4 games of the season. He was absolutely excellent today, and he showed why he has to be in this Everton team week in, week out. He brings something. For as good as for as good as Ben Godfrey is on the ball, and Ben was excellent today, for as good as Michael Keane was today, you know, they don't bring what Yerry Mina brings. They're good centre-backs, they're good on the ball, but they don't bring that natural grit that Yerry Mina's got. They don't bring that natural instinct. They don't think to just throw themselves in the line. Ben does, but like I said, Yerry Mina today was just so solid, and it is unfortunate to see him go off injured. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, but other than that, I think he was excellent today. So he is getting a 9.5. Michael Keane then next to him is getting an 8. I was actually really impressed with Michael Keane today, to be honest with you. I've been critical of Michael Keane playing in a formation of a 3 at the back or 5 at the back, whatever you want to call it, because I've said openly a number of times on this channel and just in general that I really don't think Michael Keane's comfortable in that 5 at the back formation. I think there's been a couple of times this season, certainly Spurs at home a couple of weeks ago, where he just, again, like I said, he doesn't look comfortable with his position. He seems that he just gets a little bit flustered, and he just gets, you know, his positioning just sort of as an effect when we played this formation. But today he stepped in and he was very solid, to be fair, Michael Keane. Like I said, there were a couple of times where we were caught out defensively. The Jarrod Bowen chance, you know, West Ham just completely walked through us, and Jarrod Bowen was left completely on his own. Probably Luca Dean to blame for that one, and obviously they had the header at the back post as well. But I thought for the most part Michael Keane defended really well, and he looked comfortable today, which is an improvement to what he has looked before when we've played this formation. Ben Godfrey then, Ben's getting a 9. Just absolutely unbelievable. In fact, probably unfortunate to not get a 9.5, to be honest with you. In fact, no, do you know what? I'm going to give him a 9.5, because defensively he didn't put a foot wrong. He was a brick wall all game. He was solid. You know Ben Godfrey does really well. Is we've seen it towards the end of the game. Jesse Lingard had a little 1-2 with Antonio, I think, and tried to get in between. And Ben Godfrey just stands his ground, and it's so important to do that, because, you know, sometimes attacking players and opposition attacking players will look for you to put your foot out, or look for you to sort of make that movement, and then they can hit you and win a foul in a dangerous area. But Ben Godfrey doesn't do that. He just stops and stands his ground, and that's because Ben Godfrey knows that he's that big, he's that physical, he's built like a mountain, that if any player bumps into him, they're going to go on the floor. He's not going to go on the floor, they're going to go on the floor. And, you know, obviously, look, more often than not, it's not a foul, because he can't get out the way. He just stands his ground, and he done that a couple of times today. Obviously the pass for the goal is just exquisite. Like I said, we know Ben Godfrey's an excellent defender, we know Ben Godfrey's a versatile defender, but let's be honest, he stepped into James Rodriguez's shoes today. The pass just completely and utterly destroys the entirety of West Ham's midfield and the entirety of West Ham's back line, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin runs onto it with a great finish. But like I said, for me, he was excellent today, Ben Godfrey. Didn't put a foot wrong, so solid defensively, got himself about the pitch, thrown himself in when he needed to, done one of his usual trademark ball busting runs down that left hand side, just couldn't find the final ball to Dom. For the most part today, defensively was very solid, and like I said, the pass for the goal is brilliant. So Ben's getting a 9.5. Alan then in the midfield. Oh, hang on, we'll do Seamus Coleman first. I've written these down a little bit of a strange order. Seamus Coleman, going to give Seamus an 8 today as well. Still not quite sure what position he was playing, to be perfectly honest with you. I think he started off as a right wing back. He then, as the game went on, sort of moved into the centre midfield at times. He was playing on the left at times. He was playing, you know, as an attacking midfielder. I don't quite know what his position was today. I think he might have been given the free role by Carlo Ancelotti, but nevertheless, he was exciting. He was energetic. He was getting forward. He had a really good chance in the second half where Dom played an excellent ball into him, and he just couldn't get the ball out of his feet quick enough. I think he takes a touch too many, and Fabianski ends up collecting it. But if he'd have hit it first time, it'd have been a certain goal. He probably was at fault for a couple of opportunities that West Ham had defensively. I think sometimes he got caught out a little bit. Maybe he just got a little bit too excited about the fact he was playing in a free role, and he allowed West Ham a couple of times to find that space at the back post, specifically the Ben Rama header, you know, where he's completely unmarked and Seamus is standing around not marking anybody. But other than that, like I said, I think he enjoyed himself today, Seamus. He was getting forward defensively in the second half as well. I think he played a much more attacking role in the first half. With the second half, I think Carlo Ancelotti sort of thought, right, okay, certainly 15-20 minutes in when we could see West Ham were really coming forward and trying to find that equaliser, and they were really putting pressure on us. I think Seamus stepped back into his natural sort of right back position, and he was quite solid at doing that. So Seamus Coleman is getting an 8 today. Alan then in the midfield, he's getting a 9.5. Just an absolute unbelievable performance by Alan today. Like I said, there wasn't a lot of quality in this game. We didn't have a plethora of opportunities. It wasn't an unbelievable game of football to watch. But what there was is grit, determination, fight, passion, want to win. And sometimes, just sometimes, there's going to be games of football where you're not great to watch, where it's not brilliant, where you're not creating plethora of opportunities. And Everton have had that type of scenario on a number of times this season. But we've also approached games like that a number of times this season where we haven't really had the grit or determination to get through it. We haven't really had the right attitude. Today, we absolutely did. And Alan epitomised that in the middle of the park, throwing himself in front of everything. You know, again, not only picking the ball up and taking the ball off West Ham players, but when he was getting forward, he was getting forward with a purpose. He wasn't just aimlessly running forward thinking, shit, I've got to go this way because I've got the ball. He was playing lovely pass. He played one chip ball over to Richarlison, which was just absolutely exquisite. It was a brilliant pass over to Richarlison. And he does that, again, we talk about trademark Ben Godfrey with those runs down the wing. I think we're going to have to start talking about trademark Alan with those chipped balls over the top, to be honest with you, because he's doing it week in, week out now, and they're absolutely quality. But like I said, he was everywhere. He really was everywhere. He had the legs today, and it's something that we've spoke about a number of times since Abdoulaye Doucouré's been out injured, about players that, midfield players, specifically Alan, who is trying to do that Doucouré role, but just hasn't got the legs to do it. But today, he had the legs. He was everywhere. He was picking the ball up everywhere. He was getting it out. Like I said, he was fouling in the right areas. Picked the yellow card up himself, but you don't mind that. You don't mind that as long as he's breaking up the play. And ultimately, we frustrated West Ham a lot today. And Alan was in the centre of that frustration, picking the ball up, like I said, winning the ball back, fouling when he needs to foul, and just breaking up their play and making sure that they didn't, have, other than the couple of, they had 2 or 3 chances where they played some nice balls, some nice, passages of play together and ended up creating chances for themselves. But for the most part, Alan was right in the centre of breaking all of that up, and I thought he was excellent today. Tom Davies, then, I've given him an 8. Again, I think it was a solid performance by Tom, to be honest with you. I don't think he'd done an awful lot wrong. There was a couple of, maybe, challenges that he made. I think he got a yellow card, or the referee gave a foul. Stuart Atwell gave a foul for a perfectly good sliding challenge by Tom Davies, and it was never, ever a foul whatsoever. But Stuart Atwell gave a foul for some weird reason. But no, again, I thought Tom was very good in there. Same as Alan, sort of breaking up the play, frustrating West Ham, making sure that they didn't find much, passages of play together in the middle of the park. And overall, I thought Tom put in a really solid performance. To be honest, I really don't know why Tom Davies has been out the squad. I don't know why he's been out the team. I don't know why he hasn't had as many opportunities recently as maybe we would have thought he would have had, because he hasn't really put a foot wrong all season. And again, today he was very solid. There wasn't a lot of quality there. There wasn't a lot of forward-thinking play, but he was breaking the ball up. He was winning the ball back. His close passing was decent. So Tom's getting an 8. Gylfi Sigurdsson, then, I've given him a 7. Again, on the ball, didn't do too much wrong. Had a free kick which went wide. Obviously, played a couple of nice free kick which went close, but Fabianski tipped it over the bar. A couple of decent corners into the box, but I just think in that second half he went missing a little bit, to be honest with you. And again, sometimes you get that with Gylfi Sigurdsson. Sometimes you get that with your creative players. There wasn't a lot of creativity today, and we didn't have a whole load of opportunities. And the opportunities that we did have came from Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison for the most part. And I think Gylfi just became a little bit quiet in the second half. I think he faded out the game a little bit. So, again, maybe on another day I'd give him a lower score, but he's getting a 7. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, then, Dom's getting a 9. I know you might say, oh, he only scored the goal and he didn't really do much else. The reality of the situation is he did a lot more, to be perfectly honest. He should have set up another goal. Like I said, he brings the ball down fantastically well and plays an unbelievably weighted pass to Seamus Coleman, who, again, like I said, if he gets the ball out of his feet a little bit quicker, it's 2-0. And then in the last 5 minutes, he again rounds the keeper fantastically, understands and sort of, like I said, realises he's in a bit of a tight angle, turns back round, plays a brilliant chipped ball over to Josh King, and Josh King heads it onto the post. So Dom could have walked away easily today with 2 assists and a goal, and it being a 9, 10 out of 10 performance. So like I said, for me, he's getting a 9. His goal is excellent, absolutely excellent. And I said it in the instant match reaction, those are the types of scenarios and situations in which we've criticised Dominic Calvert-Lewin for a lot of times this season, because those are the types of scenarios in which at times in games this season Dom hasn't scored, and we've been sitting here in the instant match reactions and the play rating saying, again, we haven't won another game, and if Dom had taken that chance, we'd have won that game. Well, today, I know it might seem like an easy finish, no, Cam, you shouldn't be overhyping him for what was a comfortable one-on-one, but let's overhype Dom, because we're very quick to criticise him when he misses them. So let's give him the, you know, the praise and the confidence when he scores. And it was a great finish. He kept his calm, he kept his cool, and he kept his head. He was composed in front of goal, and that's something that we've spoken about Dominic Calvert-Lewin not being at times this season, not having the composure, not having the calmness, just hitting the opportunities, being rash, not really thinking about what he's doing. Well, today he kept his calm, he kept his cool, and he finished it brilliantly, and we've got to give Dom praise for that. And like I said, on another day, Seamus Coleman, it's his shot first time, and we go 2-0 up, and then Josh King heads in instead of hitting the post, and we go 3-0 up, and Dom's got 2 assists and a goal. His work rate was there as well. He wasn't massively involved in the second half, but his work rate was there. He was getting about the pitch, he was chasing players down, he was trying to win the ball back, he was winning fouls, and like I said, in terms of his output, scored a brilliant goal and could have easily had 2 assists as well with 2 brilliant balls. So Dom's getting a 9. And then Richarlison's getting an 8.5. Yeah, look, Richarlison again, at times today was a little bit frustrating. There was times when he had the ball and he could have played a pass and he didn't, and he either lost it or he won a foul, but you know, in a position in which was a little bit too far back. But I thought Richarlison looked really, really sharp today. He fancied it from the off, and like I said, there might be a lot of Evertonians that criticise Richarlison for not playing the ball when he needed to play it, or not making the most of the ball. But today I thought his hold-up play was very good. I thought every time he got the ball, yes, he was cutting back on himself a lot of times, but that wasn't because he didn't want to play the ball forward. That was because he didn't have any forward runners. The only forward runner was Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and he was marked by 2 or 3 West Ham players. So instead of just trying to play that ball and giving it away, Richarlison cut himself back inside, and he either played a backwards pass or he won a foul. I just thought his work rate was there today. I thought he wanted it. I thought he worked hard. I thought he battled. I thought he got himself involved. He won fouls. He defended well when he needed to defend. And when he was getting forward, for the most part, he was getting us into dangerous areas. Yes, again, you are going to have those frustrations with him when he doesn't pass the ball when he's supposed to, or when he tries to take on the wheel. But ultimately, I thought it was a big effort by Richie today, and I thought he played really well. So he's getting an 8.5. Onto the substitutes bench then. Fabian Delph's getting a 6.5. Yeah, come on. Look, I'm not too bothered about the Fabian Delph substitution today, to be honest with you, because Carlo Ancelotti brought him on when we were 1-0 up away from home for, you know, as a player to sort of, like I said, break the play up a little bit and ensure that West Ham don't come forward and score an equaliser. And you know, whether he did that or not, we can decide. But ultimately, again, that was what he was brought on to do. So he's getting a 6.5. Wasn't awful, wasn't brilliant. Josh King's getting an 8. To be fair, I was quite impressed with Josh King when he come on. Thought he was, you know, he was actively trying to get us forward and trying to create. Obviously, he hit the post with that header, which is very, very unlucky. You know, a couple of inches to the left, and it's 2-0, and it's his first Everton goal. He had another chance before that where he's taken players on, where he took a couple of players on and he got himself into a dangerous area. I think he passed it to back to, I think it might have been Sigurdsson, who just couldn't get the shot on target. So yeah, I was impressed with Josh King. He was getting forward with purpose, and he looked like there was the intent there to, you know, really go on and get the second goal. And I just wish we'd have seen him for more than 8 minutes, to be honest with you. I don't know why we're only seeing him for 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes here and there, because it was clear today that if he'd have had a little bit more time, he might have gone on and got that second goal. And then Mason Holgate, look, I'll give Mason an 8 as well. Again, didn't really have an awful lot to do, but, you know, he stepped in at an important time for Everton. Yerry Mina goes off, and at the time, Yerry Mina had been our best defender, our most solid defender, the defender that was keeping everything together. And obviously he goes off injured, and I think a lot of Evertonians were biting their nails thinking, don't do anything stupid, Mason. And to be fair, he didn't have an awful lot to do defensively, but he didn't do anything silly. He slotted in, he done what he needed to do, and he was part of that defence that helped secure the win. So there you go, they are the player ratings. If you have enjoyed this one, please do hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. A massive win for Everton on the road. Another big win on the road. Another win in London. I think that's a record now for Everton winning in London in a single season for however long. And yeah, a win that puts us right back in the hat for Europe. And I know we're sick of saying that, and then a week later saying we're not in the hat, and I get that, and I know that it's been a very much a roller coaster of a season, and we're on the we're on the peak of the roller coaster now. Well, let's hope that we can continue climbing, and let's hope that there's not a massive drop next week against Sheffield United. But yeah, fantastic win, really good win. Don't forget to check out the Football News 365 app down in the description. Keeps you up to date with all your latest Everton news and scores. Free to download on iOS and Apple as well. Sorry, iOS and Android, and massively helps out the channel too. And yeah, massive win for Everton, big win for Carlo Ancelotti, and yeah, right back in the hat for Europe now. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you soon. Up the toffees. See you later.